everyone, I am Palpatine001 aka with the Senate, and we're back with Cities Skylines 2 and our one of two new cities for 2026, Waikato. Currently looking at a railway station that was placed in the last video as we continue to put in the foundational infrastructure to get our first citizens and first businesses moved in. With the central station here, what will be the city centre here, first urban development here outside of the rural area, the old nuka over here, and of course the port and that will be established out in this direction, and so on. So we're continuing with the infrastructure, which, as I said in the last video, usually goes left to right. However, when you're founding your city, you do tendency to go jump back to the zones, and then you jump over to connect it all up, and then as the city matures, you follow the techniques. So we're going to found in here and get the rural zone set up in here, so the farming, remembering that your resources are, we've got a nice little pocket in here, and oops, I don't have any public transport or cargo lines yet, and also over here, but the main one being over here. Ores to the side, so the road's connecting over, so I can get to the ore if I need to sooner or later. And then also the oil, just gonna make sure, you've just got to make sure it doesn't clash over. But I think a little, some of the oil that you could get a small one off the ground here. But your main oil deposits are basically on this side where the port would establish, as well as offshore. Whereas if I was to go swing back to ore, you got the big mountains up here. You got again another, so they share the ground. So there's places where ore is, where oil isn't, so I don't have to sacrifice one for the other. And in this, the farming doesn't technically touch aspects either, so we're okay. And you've got to remember, we've also got fishing available as well, so I don't need to panic there. So arguably, infrastructure is rather dry, or wet, or smelly, or electrifying, or soothing, or enlightening, depending which one we're going down the line to here, or life-saving, or plain old boring administrative. But it's got to be done, or the city just simply does not work. It's as simple as that. You just don't have an urban area, you just don't have a city. So we will continue through this rather dry process of me being a infrastructure planner for the moment, and then we will flip over to getting the zones. So what we will do is I'm going to pop the mic off, turn my music on, and I'm going to continue building out the farm area first, and then we'll shoot over to this side here, and then we'll start link up the central station, because you need it for your intercity to get going, because you don't have the airport or the seaport in place yet, and you don't want technically everyone driving either. I will set up a bus station as well to get those intercity buses going. It was a mistake I had in my last two cities, and I felt it, or the city felt it. And then we'll link up the transport, because the lines in that need to be brought in, so I need to connect up the grid for starters. And I also need to make sure the pipes are connected as well. Now I've got the... have I built the sewer line? No, I have not built the sewer line in. So yeah, even we've got to get... He will technically form the emergency sewer line. I always have him back up because... so we'll just quickly take a side step off into... water infrastructure for the moment. So as I said, infrastructure can be dry, or wet, or smelly, depending which way you're going. Well, I do have, we'll always have the treatment plants available. So the big one, which we've got here, and another one, and that one's really good for tight spaces. So that's usually good to boost industry. Sometimes your power network can go offline, or your jobs go a little bit mismatched, which can shut down the wastewater treatment, or the treatment plants, because you got to remember, these treatment plants also the treated water goes actually back into the water network, so it does water recycling, so you're not having to draw on fresh water quite heavily. So it's good old-fashioned black water recycling. Woohoo! But I have had it in cases that it's either I've done something or something else is an unexpected event has happened and the treatment plants come offline, and then as a consequence this one comes online to allow the sewage to be temporarily dumped out in an emergency fashion so you don't have sewage backup across the city. So as they say, there's method to the madness, and also it's not reliant on power. So yeah, if I suffer a power failure or a brownout, I'm not going to be in a pure state of panic. You can see where the shipping, where it goes real deep water. The pipes give a bit of that away. So if I was to jump over the shipping, actually, sorry, no, not shipping. Well, yeah, that tells me where the shipping routes are. Oh, because I've also crossed over a block of land. It's a bit of a wonky one, that one. So if I was to be a little bit more... As I said, that just gives the emergency sewer outfall if need be, and I'll connect that up to the city shortly. So yeah, infrastructure stuff's a little bit boring, but I'll keep going. So we'll bring the farm, bring the rural area online. It won't do the supply stuff yet that is available across the supply chain stuff yet. I wanted to get this because otherwise I'm going to have a job problem. So we'll just get things off the ground first. And yeah, so I'll just pop the mic off for a moment, folks. I'll get working on this infrastructure, and yeah, and then we'll pop back and run some commentary through it. Right. As you can see through this, that it mightn't, despite the runtime, it's going to be elapsed when it's all edited, when it's been, so when you get this, you'll get the edited version, but the raw version's about hot minute, about an hour 35. It doesn't look like much has been done with infrastructure. It can seem absolutely painstakingly slow, because it is. But you can start to see, and we can see that I'm starting to get the power, start to bring in the power, the water and wastewater mains across to the other side. But you can start to see the spatial form that Waikato will first take when we get off. Because you've got Waikato Grove with the farming, and that includes cotton, and the livestock. You've got the fish farm in here. Remember, this is only small because this is only designed to get the city off the ground. And we've got some supporting manufacturing and warehousing industry to go in there. Also, the other good thing is it's close by to the city centre, so you can get those fast consumer goods in there as quick as possible, especially when I start building the road and rail cargo terminals. We've connected up the railway line too, so that now allows for intercity to get us going, and then intracity once the city evolves. But we've also got forestry. Now stone, let me just check. There was an ore out here, because that's the one you're looking for. Okay, so I'm gonna, as soon as I cross over, we're gonna get, we're actually gonna get, so if we shoot over, we actually are gonna get, ore. Stone doesn't need anything, so I could bring stone over here to keep this away. Oil, and so we are actually quite close to that major field, so we could actually get more of that off the ground and bring the highway up to connect it in the rail line. So we'll get the stone and ore and coal going. So we'll in the next video we'll push the road over to get the stone and ore and coal going. We might get a small oil field going. We've definitely got enough room with residential to support it all. And we've also got a rail station here. So as I said, you can start to see the form it's taking. Starting to bring the roads over to the other side for the residential, commercial, and some office. I've even started blocking out the city centre. So we've got the central station, the central city bus station, and that's because it's duplicated, and it's also using the American spelling, which I don't like. Both of those have got subway connections, so that gives me my subway lines, which I will run underneath. We also built another drawbridge that stops putting major pressure on this connection, because this is arguably the bypass. We've got a drawbridge here, so you will know about it. If we had tolling, it would be that one would be tolled off, and you can use this one. You just have to put up the ferries. I upgraded this one to a big sixer. If you don't want to do it, a road tunnel will go underneath it in due time, but you've also got this big boy over here. And as you see, you can start to see where the spatial form is going, and this will be a mixture of some residential as well. I've got enough to bring more rural over here and more rural through here and here as we go. Got some forestry. So as I said, we've got all the starting elements coming through, which means I will go into the zones now. We go into the zones now. The one I really want to do is I think it might be under. I need to see which one it's actually come under. This is I've just downloaded it too, so nope. Australian, nope. Because I haven't turned American on. That would be particularly helpful. So it is a very specific one. I'm looking, there it is. Chicago. And now I have to read up on how to do this, because this has a very specific way of doing it. And I'm just wondering, and I don't think you can actually see, you can't currently see the window, so that's a pointless one to do. I'll have to go out into the workshop to show you, which I will do. So we do have it. So then it just comes down to what I'll be starting to think of what kind of urban design I want, and I'm probably going to lean quite heavily in this case into, on this side of the river at least, into the American range quite significantly, and then on the other side we'll mix it up with European and American, and then we start spanning out from there. That said, I do like the northeast high density. The UK one is okay, and I do have a particular southwest one is a good one too. Also very fond of, I do use the urban promenades, but yeah, fond of those American ones there in the high density ranges, but we will use the others. So you can see how I'm starting to map this out, and then of course you've got all the supporting infrastructure as you start going across. So what I will do is off stream I will continue building out the roads, so when into the next video we'll start jumping into the rest of the infrastructure. But as you can see, when you're doing infrastructure planning, especially your hard infrastructure, so these three, or the horizontal infrastructure they can often call it, takes a lot of work, and it can take a lot of time, just as it will in the real world, which is often means patience, and especially if you're doing infrastructure first. But again, you can see how it is starting to pan out. And yeah, so when we come back, and so this was Waikato part 2.1, the continuation of building out the skeleton and the arteries, main arteries. In 2.2, I would have completed up the road network and joined up the water and electricity systems, and then we'll start to be jumping across the rest of the infrastructure and start getting down our non-industrial zones, ready for 3.0, to where we should be able to let in our first Sims and our first businesses. I'm Palpatine 001, aka the Senate, and this is Waikato, one of my 2 new cities for 2026, the other being Neo Monaco Ranges. We will be back with Waikato with 2.2, the continuation of the rest of the infrastructure before the zoning, and we'll also be back with Neo Monaco Ranges and getting its foundational infrastructure down. So in the meantime, planning, building, and experiencing.